There is a plant growing in the cracks of your driveway right now. It survives where nothing else can. It thrives in drought that kills lettuce. It spreads across barren soil that starves tomatoes. And inside its tiny leaves hides more omega-3 fatty acids than any other vegetable on Earth. More than spinach, more than kale, more than the salmon they tell you to buy at $15 a pound. For 4,000 years, civilizations from Egypt to China cultivated it as medicine and food. Hippocrates prescribed it. Gandhi ate it daily. NASA studied it for feeding astronauts on Mars. Then the chemical companies arrived. They printed it in their weed identification guides. They formulated herbicides specifically to kill it. They convinced gardeners across the world that this ancient superfood was an enemy invading their lawns. Today, homeowners spray poison on one of the most nutritious plants ever discovered. They pay money to destroy free food. They have been trained to kill abundance. This is the story of purslane, the plant they erased from your plate and how to take it back. Welcome to Traditional Harvest. Before we open this vault, if these stories matter to you, the best way to preserve this wisdom is simple. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share these vaults with those who need to remember what we forgot. The archive opens in ancient Egypt, 2000 BCE. Archaeologists excavating medical texts discovered something remarkable. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest complete medical documents ever found, lists a familiar plant among its remedies. The Egyptians called it a cure for burning sensations, for inflammation, for ailments modern medicine would later call oxidative stress. They consumed it raw in salads and cooked it with oil. Pharaohs ate what today grows in parking lots. The plant spread along every trade route. In ancient Greece, Theophrastus documented it in his botanical texts around 300 BCE. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, prescribed it for inflammation and skin conditions. He understood something we have forgotten. Food is medicine, and this plant was both. In Rome, Pliny the Elder wrote about its cultivation. Roman soldiers carried seeds across the empire. Every conquered territory learned to grow it. The plant appeared in India, where Ayurvedic practitioners used it to cool the body and purify blood. It reached China, where traditional medicine employed it for dysentery, bleeding, and infection. It arrived in the Middle East, where it became a staple vegetable in countless households. This is Portulaca oleracea, common purslane. It is a succulent with thick, paddle-shaped leaves and reddish stems. It hugs the ground, spreading outward like a mat. The leaves taste slightly sour and salty with a satisfying crunch. But what is inside those leaves defies everything we think we know about nutrition. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any other leafy vegetable ever tested. 100 grams of purslane provides 300 to 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid. That is 5 times more than spinach. It rivals fish oil supplements that cost $30 a bottle. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation, support brain function, and protect cardiovascular health. We are told to buy expensive salmon or take capsules extracted from industrial fish farms. Meanwhile, purslane grows free in sidewalk cracks. The nutritional profile reads like a multivitamin. It has vitamin A at levels comparable to carrots. It has vitamin C that exceeds most cultivated greens. It has vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant, at concentrations higher than spinach. It contains the full spectrum of B vitamins, and it contains calcium, magnesium, potassium, and iron in abundance. But the real discovery came from modern researchers who analyzed what ancient physicians intuited. Purslane contains melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep cycles. It is one of the richest plant sources ever documented, 10 to 20 times higher than most vegetables. It also contains glutathione, the master antioxidant that protects cells from damage and supports detoxification. Scientists found betalain pigments, the same compounds that make beets so medicinal. They discovered pectin, which binds cholesterol and helps remove it from the body. They identified high concentrations of mucilage, which soothes digestive inflammation. A single plant, growing wild, providing what pharmaceutical companies charge fortunes to synthesize. In 1980, researchers published findings that stunned the nutritional world. They had analyzed purslane samples and discovered that this common weed contained the highest recorded levels of omega-3 fatty acids among leafy vegetables. It was not close. Purslane stood alone. More studies followed. A 2014 analysis confirmed the omega-3 fatty acid content while documenting its antioxidant capacity. Researchers noted that purslane exhibited stronger free radical scavenging than many commercial supplements. The plant was not just nutritious, it was therapeutic. NASA took notice. In 1997, the space agency published research on purslane as a potential crop for bioregenerative life support systems. The logic was sound. Astronauts on long missions need nutrient-dense food that grows fast, tolerates harsh conditions, and provides maximum nutrition per unit of space. Purslane met every criterion. It grows from seed to harvest in 6 to 8 weeks. It produces edible leaves, stems, and seeds, with the entire plant being consumable. It survives in poor soil, drought, and extreme heat that would kill most vegetables. It requires no fertilizer. It resists pests. And it regenerates when cut, producing multiple harvests from a single planting. This was the crop of the future, and it was already growing everywhere. So what happened? The same thing that happens to every crop that cannot be controlled. In the United States, the Department of Agriculture classifies purslane as a noxious weed. Extension offices across the country publish guides on how to eradicate it. Master gardener programs teach new gardeners to identify and destroy it. The very institutions that should be promoting food security are systematically poisoning one of nature's most generous gifts. The herbicide industry built products specifically to kill purslane. Chemical formulations designed to target broadleaf succulents without harming grass. Homeowners buy these products by the millions, spraying death on free nutrition so their lawns look uniform. The absurdity is staggering. People spend money on salad at grocery stores while poisoning better salad in their own yards. They buy omega-3 supplements manufactured in factories while killing those same plants growing without any effort beside their mailboxes. And the reason is simple. Purslane cannot be commodified. It grows without permission, it spreads without purchase, and it feeds without profit for anyone except the person eating it. Industrial agriculture requires dependency. Farmers must buy seeds every year. They must apply fertilizers made by chemical conglomerates. They must spray pesticides from the same companies that sell the seeds. They must buy equipment to plant and harvest. At every stage, money flows from the farmer to corporations. Purslane breaks that cycle. Once it appears, it returns every year. It seeds itself prolifically, with a single plant producing over 240,000 seeds. Those seeds remain viable in soil for 40 years, waiting for the right conditions to germinate. You cannot stop it without poison. You cannot sell what refuses to die. A plant that provides free omega-3 fatty acids threatens fish oil manufacturers. A plant that grows without fertilizer threatens chemical companies. A plant that propagates itself threatens seed corporations. A plant that anyone can grow threatens the entire infrastructure of controlled agriculture. So they called it a weed. The word weed has no botanical definition. It is purely economic. A weed is simply a plant growing where commerce does not want it. Purslane is a weed because its abundance undermines scarcity. Scarcity creates markets. Markets create profit. Profit requires control. What cannot be controlled must be destroyed. The propaganda worked. Generations of Americans grew up seeing purslane as an invader, something to pull and discard, something to spray with chemicals, something worthless. Meanwhile, the same plant was being sold in European and Asian markets as a premium vegetable. Mediterranean cultures never forgot. They still eat it daily, raw in salads or cooked with garlic and olive oil. In Greece, they call it glistrida or andrakla. In Turkey, it is semizotu. In France, it is porpille. In Mexico, it is verdolaga, where it is cooked with pork and chiles. In India, the leaves are used in curries and dals. The entire world eats purslane except the countries where chemical companies hold the most power. But purslane cannot be erased. It is too resilient. It is a C4 plant using a photosynthetic pathway that allows it to thrive in hot, dry, high-light conditions where other plants fail. Its succulent leaves store water, allowing survival through droughts that kill lettuce and spinach. It grows in sand, in clay, in compacted soil beside roads, in the thin layer of dirt between paving stones, in abandoned lots and forgotten corners. It grows anywhere sunlight reaches the ground. The stems root wherever they touch soil. Cut it and leave fragments behind, and each fragment becomes a new plant. This is not a flaw. This is survival technology perfected over millions of years. The same regenerative capacity that frustrates gardeners trying to kill it is exactly what makes it invaluable as a food source. Climate change is accelerating. Droughts are intensifying. Traditional crops are failing in regions where they grew reliably for centuries. Heat waves are killing plants bred for moderate conditions. And purslane just keeps growing. It is already adapted to the future we are creating. While agricultural scientists scramble to breed drought-tolerant varieties of commercial crops, purslane sits in every vacant lot already prepared for what is coming. Free, waiting. Mahatma Gandhi understood this. He wrote about purslane in his publications on health and self-sufficiency. He ate it regularly and recommended it to others. He saw food independence as inseparable from political independence. A people who can feed themselves from their own land cannot be fully controlled. Henry David Thoreau mentioned purslane in Walden. Living simply at the pond, he recognized the abundance growing around him without cultivation. He made a boiled dinner of it and found it satisfying. He understood that the wild provides. The elders knew. Our grandparents knew. Indigenous peoples across every continent knew. Food grows without factories. Nutrition exists without corporations. Health happens without pharmaceutical intervention. But knowing is not enough when entire systems depend on ignorance. Every homeowner spraying herbicide on their lawn is spraying it on food. Every gardener pulling purslane and throwing it in yard waste bags is throwing away medicine. Every child taught to see this plant as worthless is being separated from ancestral knowledge that kept humans alive for millennia. The pattern repeats across human history. Amaranth, the sacred grain of the Aztecs, was banned by Spanish conquistadors because its ceremonial importance made it a tool of cultural resistance. Quinoa was dismissed as peasant food until Western markets rebranded it as a superfood and drove prices beyond the reach of the Andean people who had cultivated it for 5,000 years. Lamb's quarters, chickweed, dandelion, all nutritional powerhouses growing freely, all labeled weeds, all targeted for destruction. The foods that empower independence are systematically marginalized. The foods that require dependence are systematically promoted. But knowledge survives. In every forager who bends down to harvest purslane from a crack in the sidewalk. In every gardener who stops pulling and starts eating. In every community that remembers that abundance grows where we stand. Purslane asks nothing. It needs no irrigation in drought. It needs no fertilizer in poor soil. It needs no pesticide because few pests bother it. It needs no special equipment to harvest, just hands and a basket. It is ready now, growing in a parking lot near you. It has been ready for 4,000 years. It will still be ready when the supply chains fail and the grocery shelves empty and the illusions of industrial food security finally collapse. They labeled it a weed because they could not sell it. They told you to poison it because they could not profit from it. They erased it from your knowledge because they could not control it. But purslane is still growing. In every crack, in every neglected corner, in every place where life insists on surviving despite everything we do to stop it. The most nutritious salad green on earth is free. It grows without asking permission. It feeds without demanding payment. It returns every year without requiring purchase. That is why they call it a weed. Now you know what it really is. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe to Traditional Harvest and hit the bell. Every like and every share helps preserve the knowledge they tried to bury. The next vault opens soon.